Okay. Well, so far so good. Got it all set up. Now I'm going to screen share here. Okay. I guess we could call this a series on the importance of interest. So important. And in terms of children or any of our kids, a lot of people don't take that into account, how important their interests are. But it's critical. Okay. We're going to start with this show. And chances are we can do a couple of them today. This was created when children weren't going to school. So it was homeschooling today, following wholesome interests. True interests are generally wholesome. During this 1-hour Zoom show, I focus on sharing tips and lessons on the one rule to raising happy kids. Also, each episode has at least one example of the one rule in action, demonstrating how it helps you raise a happy child. Then we have Q&A and discussion when we have guests. When I talk about raising happy kids or creating harmony with kids, I often bring up the one rule, now called the one rule to raising happy kids. It's still the one rule. Using the one rule means you find agreement. That's the rule. Oh, we do have a guest. How am I going to do this? I'm going to stop the share for the moment. Oh. There you are. Hi, Brian. How are you? Can you hear me? Hi, Brian. I guess I'll go on with the screen share. Can you hear me? Oh, wow. I wonder if I have sound. I should have sound, but you're muted. I'll just, I'll go on with the screen share. Okay. You're muted.
Hello?
Ah,
I'm in now?
yeah.
Okay, thanks, Karen. Sorry about that.
No problem. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing it.
Right.
Doing the best I can, I'm staying
Yeah.
busy. The phone's ringing. Things are good. Just trying to
Cool.
keep my health up and my attitude and okay.
Nice. Yeah. I can relate. Yeah. Good. Okay. Well, I was doing a screen share.
I interrupted you. I'm sorry. I was a couple
No,
minutes late,
you're
right?
you're most welcome whenever you come on. Priority.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I finally got last week's up. I posted last week's show.
Okay.
Maybe I'll get this one up sooner.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Shall I go on with the screen share?
Sure. Do it. Yeah, you're on the show. I'm just a visitor. I'll run with you.
You're a most welcome guest.
Thank you.
Okay. Actually, one little housekeeping thing. In the group, I put the post up of the show, and if you could take a look at the information on you, right, because it's in there, and make sure that it's the way you want it. It's the way you gave it to me before, but there may be changes now that are not in there that I
Oh,
would, so maybe you can do that sometime.
okay.
So for this one, if I don't hear from you, then I'll just use the same information.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to continue this slideshow. Okay. Huh. Okay. There. All right. Using the one rule means you find agreement. That's the rule. The one rule equals agreement. Agreement equals harmony. You find an idea, a solution that everyone likes. You found agreement. You found harmony. Let's see if this is going to work. Let's try this. Ah, okay. Knowing and following the one rule is all you really need to create harmony between you and your kids. In any situation where there are differences that might lead to conflict between you and your kids, use the one rule. I learned this strategy from 3-year-old children. I was teaching them a complex conflict resolution strategy, actually intended for adults, and they taught me this. So don't think you're in for a rough time. It's simple, it's easy, it's powerful and effective. It works if you use it. Last week, I was watching an online lesson. The instructor used the term magic wand, referring to what was being taught. I thought, that's what the one rule is. It's a magic wand for those who use it. It eliminates wondering how to solve problems with kids. Now you know how, you just have to do it. Have you ever heard that 2 heads are better than 1? With the one rule, all the heads of the people involved are part of coming up with a solution. Since everyone involved knows that the solution has to be one that everyone likes, that is the rule, my experience has been that a mutually satisfying solution is thought of. So let's see how the one rule can help our kids follow wholesome interests, interests that lead to good health and physical well-being. This was an issue way back when this was created. So kids have a very important job to do, as important as any job on earth. It's their job to create an adult, the adult they become. And one of our jobs is to help them do this and hopefully do an excellent job of it. The one rule helps this happen. It is distilled from over 47 years of focused attention, observation, experimenting, inspiration, and caring. That's why experiencing, understanding, and using the one rule is so important. The most wholesome education is based on interest. So as your kid's learning helper, knowing what they are interested in is an excellent place to start. The most excellent education puts the student at the center of their education. The learning helper helps them follow their interests when they need and want help. Another thing to keep in mind is, what do your kids find interesting? Do they prefer to be inside or outside? Do they like to be quiet or noisy? Do they prefer to be alone or with lots of other people, or with a friend or two? Do they prefer reading or writing, math, science, singing, or playing a musical instrument? Helping you with your work or helping their father with his? Working in the garden or making food? Riding a bicycle or dancing? Playing sports or video games? Why is it good for your kids to do what interests them? One primary reason is that their interest is a key to helping them become the best versions of themselves that they can become. When we do what interests us, we are very engaged and focused. Think about doing something that interests you. When we are engaged and focused, what we do and produce tends to be of much better quality than if we were not interested. Interest helps result in excellence. An even more important result of being engaged and focused is that our whole being is involved in what interests us. That's why we are engaged and focused. We are experiencing harmony. That is a good reason to allow and encourage our kids to do what they're interested in doing. It's a form of meditation. I have observed children doing what really interests them, and they become peaceful, harmonious people, even if they were not before. Imagine how wholesome it is to spend time doing what one is interested in. It may involve challenges. It can certainly involve expanding our knowledge and skill base. Imagine how satisfying it feels when you're following your interests, even if there is some frustration. If it still interests you, you can go beyond that frustration and overcome the challenge. Imagine the feeling of triumph they can experience. As their learning helper, does a parent make suggestions, and share new experiences? I'd say certainly, if they are inspired to do so. But even so, I'd also say, let it be up to the kids what they decide to explore and experience. Oh, just follow the one rule. Let that be your guide in areas where the harmonious path is not clear. So please help your kids follow their interests. If they need your help, if they ask for your help, please help them. If for some reason you really do not want to do what they're asking you to do, now is a perfect time to use the one rule. Let's say you live in a town or a city and you have a child who loves to be outside. If you are helping that child to follow their interests, find out what they want to do outside, what they like best. Then find out if they need or want your help to do any of this. Do you have a safe place for them to be outside without you, or do you need to be with them? Do they want you to be with them? If there are any differences in needs, make sure you use the one rule to find satisfying solutions. That is an excellent habit for them to develop also.
Hello, no one is available. For call, please leave a message.
This reminds me of a true story I once read. It took place at a private school called Sudbury Valley. At this school, the students are responsible for choosing how they spend their time. In other words, they are free to follow their interests. Some may spend most of their time playing sports. One boy loved fishing. They had a pond or a lake on the school property. He spent most of 2 years fishing. That was his primary focus. Then one day, he walked by the computer lab and became fascinated with computers. The same ability to focus and learn everything he could about fishing got turned to computers. He followed his interest. Following their interests is essential for 2-year-olds. Children of this age do activities for an inner purpose, to develop and coordinate their intelligence, their will, and their movements, to integrate them as human beings. You'll notice that sometimes they want to move heavy or awkward things. However difficult or beyond their abilities the task seems to be, let them do these tasks because it's these challenges that bring about concentration and help your child integrate their personality. Helping them become a person who knows what they want, how to manifest it, and has the perseverance to carry through. Don't you agree that those are valuable qualities and abilities to have? Daily life activities that your child has seen you do all of their life are familiar to them. They make sense. They understand them. They are perfect activities for them to use to integrate their personality, to tie together their intelligence, their will, and their physical abilities. Encourage your child to do the tasks that attract them as soon as they show interest. Their work may not be up to your expectations of perfection, but they can improve with practice. You can offer them jobs that are simple and specific with clear physical evidence of proper completion. For example, all their clean clothes put in their drawer, all their toys picked up off the floor and put in their places on the shelf, the hammer put back in the toolbox, a small bag of groceries carried from the car to the kitchen. This enables them to judge for themselves whether they have completed the tasks satisfactorily. It helps your 2-year-old when you provide small versions of what they see you use. Sponges. You can cut theirs to fit their hand. A broom, if you use one. Dustpan, brush, watering can, window squeegee, bucket, tools. The tools used for whatever they are interested in doing. Sometimes they may want to use your larger versions for the purposes of developing strength and coordination. Notice what interests them, what they're eager to do. Provide opportunities for them to have as many of the desired experiences as possible. Besides developing their willpower and integrating their personality, these may indicate talents to be developed or skills to be acquired for the optimum development of their potential, even forming useful habits. Do your best not to interfere when your child is doing a loved activity or any activity that seems to involve them in deep concentration. That means when they're so intent on what they're doing that they're not really aware of what else is going on. These times of concentration, times of focus, are essential in the development of an integrated personality. Remember, that is someone who knows what they want, who knows how to manifest it, and who has the commitment, the determination, the perseverance to carry through. Don't you agree that those are valuable qualities and abilities to have? Thanks for being here. Now it's time for Q&A and discussion. Let's see. I'm gonna stop this share. Whoops. Okay. So, any
A lot of stuff
thoughts?
there.
I
Yes.
know.
Danny, there's a lot of knowledge and data and thoughts going on there. I can narrow it down to 2 things that I kept hearing. You're looking for positive growth and success with children, and you offer a lot of different ways to go by that, so the journey along the way keeps their interest and doesn't discourage them. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I've come to find out, once you get good at this, you not only become a better teacher, but you can take these things into the adult world as well, and it works because adults are looking for success and growth too. And in my life, I've had my ups and downs, and I've shared them with you over the times. But I've noticed it in my own relationships right now with my own daughter, who's 31, and now my own granddaughter, who will turn 5 next month. I'm doing
Wow.
very well with them. And consequently, I'm doing very well, again, considering all the obstacles I've had to come over in my own life. And I'm coming back right now from health issues and different things, but I'm using a lot of the stuff that you give to me and that we talk about here to help me with that. Otherwise, I'm not motivated. If I don't stay on purpose and on task using these one rule things, and sometimes I take notes. I got several notebooks, just laying around right here, I write my notes in, and I have to refer to them and try to keep on purpose, I call it, or keep on task. So I'm doing the right things. And
Wow.
it's going good. I don't know about you, but I think you're surviving. You're doing good. Every time I see you, you're happy and smiling. You got your family around you. That's, to me, that's the consequences of I don't want to say compromise, because we are making compromises with each other, but what we're trying to get to do is get the other folks that we're working with to work with us as well. So we just agree on things, and things go without holding grudges or,
Right.
having issues with people, just being open and honest.
Yeah. And one thing about the thing of compromise, This is kind of what I learned in the first time of this one rule thing, even though it wasn't called one rule, it wasn't called anything. But that's where I learned what I call the one rule now, from these two little girls. And it wasn't like, because, okay, they both wanted to swing on the same swing. And I had already told the class all together, I told them, like in a circle, that we were gonna find things that worked for everybody, so everybody gets to be happy with what happens. And so I was doing that with them. And it was like, nobody's gonna swing till we figure this out. And one of the little girls, like within less than a minute, once she understood, okay, we have to find something that we both like about this. And I was in, like, well, we could get a timer and you could take turns, like, that kind of idea. But she came up with the idea of they could both swing at the same time, one sitting on the lap facing the other child. And they both liked that idea. And the point of this is that what the one rule does is it creates a situation where it's kind of a liberating situation, because we get like, we think, this is the way I want it, this is how it has to be. But there could be, like with these little girls, there could be another thing that is just as enjoyable, or maybe even more enjoyable, than what you thought of as the way it had to be for you to be okay. Now, compromise to me always means diminishment, like you don't get an aspect, or something doesn't get satisfied. But with the one rule, it expands people, it expands everyone to include another person, for example.
I feel that it makes it where it's not just about you, what you want. You're not indifferent anymore to other people's needs and wants. You're willing to share. So yeah, compromise is a little bit of takes loss. I hear what you're saying on that, but I understand what you're saying about getting both kids on the swing. They not necessarily they both got the swing, and that's what they both wanted. But now they moved on and they learned a new thing.
Right.
But they both got to do it. You made me think of an example, like when my granddaughter, 4 years old, I'm thirsty, get me a drink. That's no way to get a drink, is it? So, we're aware you're thirsty. But now, if maybe grandpa, would you like a drink? And then while you're getting yourself one, I was thirsty too. And then I created a thing where let's get everybody a drink. We could do a cheers. So now every time my granddaughter's thirsty, want to do cheers? So everybody gets a drink. But now everybody gets to swing, not just me. And I think they find that they grow to everyone's having fun and swinging on the swing now, not just me. But I think sometimes when you get what you want, and you're the only one on the swing and everybody else standing there watching you mad, what fun is that?
Right. Yeah.
So we've
Right.
all learned to be happy by making other folks happy and sharing some of our happiness with others. And that's not compromise, doesn't have to be. It might be in the beginning, but after a while it becomes a way of life.
Hmm.
We love to do cheers when everybody has a drink, and not just me. I got my drink and you didn't. So nobody wants to hang around with anyone who thinks like that.
Right. Yeah.
And that works
Yeah.
in all parts of life. But
That's
you have to stay on purpose, on task of that. And a guy told me once, the Bible can't help you unless you know what's in it. You could have all the Bibles laying around your house all you want. You can have all the books that Karen Rice wrote all you want, but unless you practice those methods and read up on it and keep those thoughts in your mind. Zig Ziglar said, bathing's only temporary, but we have to do it every day. Motivation, same thing. It's only temporary. You can wake up and be down. But if you're one of those people that says, good morning, God, or good God morning, how do you want to, how are you going to say it? It's just how you approach these issues. And you're one of the people that tells us to make it the best of it, not to bring others down with you. Say, I didn't get what I want. I'm going to share what I want with others. And then there's more people happy, not just me.
nice. Yeah. So,
You were talking a lot about getting kids to try new things. So you mentioned about find things that interest them. Well, that's only like one side of the page. The things that interest the kids are it's just, to me, needs to be a tool. That's something they can relate to. And if you can get them bought into that, then you can introduce the new thing. Like my daughter has a chart on the kitchen wall. When my granddaughter tries something new, she gets a star. So anything from a new color to wear to trying a new food. And
uh-huh.
you can't say whether you like the food or not until you try it. You can't really look at texture or whatever. So I don't like that, because there's different textures of different things. And so we work on that a lot. We work on the stars because it's a visual show of success. And then if you take it further, that's up to you. And that happens in real life too, that you get rewarded for your successes. And the more the merrier, the more trophies on the shelf, And that's how you grow as a person too. Currently my granddaughter, she's in pre-K, and she comes home every day with her folder and her report. The teacher wants to know, how does she know every song that I teach already? She already knows it. She's the leader of every song. So one day she comes and said, Grandpa, teacher taught me a song today. I didn't know. Like, okay, that's good. Well, I know where that's coming from. I'm an ex-music teacher. So her repertoire is already bing, bang, bong. She knows Itsy Bitsy Spider, Mary Had a Little Lamb, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. She knows every song in the curriculum,
Right.
So it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice that you have them right there so close.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
But what else in your thing today did you want to touch upon, do you think, for today's slides?
Right. Well, I noticed that I had included 2-year-olds in there
Mhm.
because that's a really critical time in a person's life. It's kind of like I've thought for a long time that they're like coming in for a landing. Like before that, they are totally inwardly motivated.
Yeah,
I
they
think,
only know what they have experienced so far. Not
well, I
much.
feel like I call it their developmental blueprint.
Yeah, their little
And
brains are only not still developing. Correct. Yeah, I agree.
yeah, so that when the baby, because they're toddlers then, when we call them that, when they get to that 2-year-old period, to me, it's like it's the first time when there's freedom in the developmental blueprint. There's freedom for them to choose. And because they, at that point, need to develop their willpower. Before that, the blueprint pushes them to whatever, like if there's a certain period when a baby will watch people's mouths and they'll try to make the shapes and the sounds and things like that. And that to me is indicated, that's evidence of this blueprint, because children in general, there's like a period when they do that. And there are lots of other things that they do. And it's this blueprint that guides them. Well, the blueprint's still guiding, maybe even our whole lives, I don't know, but because even adults have, what do they call it? Midlife crisis is a common thing. So maybe that's evidence of the developmental blueprint still at work. But when they're 2, all of a sudden there's this freedom to choose. I want to go do this. I want that to happen, because they're developing their willpower and integrating themselves as people.
And some
And
people, it takes them a lifetime to learn that. Some people are 50 years old, still trying to please their parents and not noticing
well,
that
I
they have their own choice.
right. I
And
think that, yeah, go ahead.
we've had an 18-month-old hanging around here lately, only because she has an older sister and parents that are, their marriage is in jeopardy right now. So we've been taking in the 18-month-old to take it off the parents' hands while they work
Cool.
out things.
Yeah.
What I found out was this little 18-month-old boy doesn't like men. And the mothers were constituting that he's relating that the father is abusive in that family. So consequently, he didn't like me. And I had to figure out how to win him over. In my eyes, as a mature adult, I'm not your dad. And there's no child ever that didn't like me. But now I found one that does. And so we're trying to figure out where that's coming from. And we think we did. He's associating men with being a negative thing because that's the
Right.
circumstances, and that's all he knows. And the parents, they see that, but they're not thinking like we are. They're not thinking about logic. They're just thinking about what works and what doesn't. And maybe they're not educated even enough or have the experience enough. Because like Karen, me and you have grandchildren, right? And these are parents, young parents with just small children now. They're just starting to
Right.
figure it out, and they're not ahead of the game yet. They're like children themselves in this realm. Like what you were saying earlier made me think, yeah, a little 2-year-old, okay, we need to make them happy, but they don't know what they like and don't like yet. That's our job to show them. And I guess as adults, as a grandparents, even our own children could use some guidance, of how to raise their kids if they're willing to listen to us. And I'm still around because I still, not that I command it, but I think I've earned the respect of my daughter and now my granddaughter, because they know that if they hang with me, good things are going to happen. Right decisions are going to be made. They're going to be positive and they're going to be happy, and everyone's going to win. Like when I hear
Nice.
riffraff going on outside of my bedroom here, where I'm sitting now, my little studio office here. Let's go get Grandpa. He'll solve this. How does that make me feel? It makes me feel great that they say, let's go get Grandpa. He'll fix this. And when I do, everybody's happy. No one loses. It's a
Nice.
win-win. And you might not want to say compromise, but you might say, well, we get what he's saying there. Compromise doesn't always have to be a loss. It just means that we all win in some way. And little that's what we're trying to do with these little kids, 2-year-olds. I think what you're saying is, how can we get them to smile and be happy? I write my journal. I keep a journal of my granddaughter that I'm not going to let her see till she finds it after I'm gone. And I keep it up here in my bookshelves, and I just write in it. But one thing I write in there a lot that I notice when I go back and read my thoughts is, I don't like it when she's upset and when she cries, no matter what it is. I want to make her happy, and I want to make my goal in life is to make her to get up like me every morning and want to have life and be happy. So far, she's never said, the school bus, I don't want to go to school. We have her convinced she needs to be there. Her friends are waiting on her. Her teacher expects her to show up. They cooked breakfast just for her that day. She has an assigned seat on that school bus with a seat belt. And if she's not there, the bus driver is going to ask tomorrow, where was Brianna? Why wasn't she here? So she feels obligated to go to school. And I hope that lasts for the next 12 years. And she is learning there. And she comes home, with knowledge, and she shares it with us. And she's not reluctant to share what she learns at school, and I love that.
Nice. Yeah. Cool.
And I think what parents need to know too is that kids, they're not reluctant to do show and tell and show what they learn at home. And unfortunately, my granddaughter comes home and shows me some of Billy's always in trouble, and the way his mom says she handles it, and they share, and like to give her mom a lesson or two about how to work with children, but then we find out that it might be a young mother. It's just getting started.
Right.
Like, a mean way to say this, they're children making children. Well, when you find like teenagers that have children and they're trying to raise them, when I was a teenager, that wasn't on my agenda. My focus was schooling, not raising kids. I didn't have children until I was later in life. But now these kids are taking on a lot of responsibility. And when Wi-Fi isn't working, they're helpless. That's another story in itself.
Yeah,
People that
I've
don't
heard
have this
about
Wi-Fi stuff, they don't know how to get through the day. It's a shame. Just
Wow.
us old school people, we don't have to have media, TV, and all these different things to open a book and read it. You know that.
Yeah, there's a lot to do. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's
When our electric was off recently, how are we going to eat? How are we going to? Well, we have a grill outside. You look for other options.
right.
Get what you want. And it's
Yeah.
just the same way with these kids, finding other ways to get to fruition, to get your lesson to come to its goals that you want it to. So we're all looking for what we call an outcome, I think. We want the outcome to be positive,
Yeah.
no matter what level you are. I know you
Right.
focus on the 2-year-olds. That's your focus. And the 2-year-olds that I come in with, I have a lot of tools now that I've learned from you, even by being an educator all these years myself, trying to play games and tricks in my bag and all that. Well, yeah, okay, they all work. They're temporary. But what you're trying to do is build a relationship and build a person that has these things that they're in them. They're not always looking for tricks. It's just part of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're doing. We can count on that with your structure of the way of communicating with folks and getting outcome.
Cool. Yeah, well, that's definitely what I want. Yeah, I want all the people to know how to do this, and it's one thing I really like about it is that it's so flexible. It can flex for everybody that is in a basic decent shape, finding something that feels good. Like there could be like the swing incident, right? There could have been a number of ways that it could have worked for them. This was the way it did, was just the way it did.
Well, when
At
you
the-
said, all right, nobody swings, that's how most daycare playgrounds work. So then the swings are sitting empty. Nobody swings. We're going to fight. Nobody gets it. So it's a loss-loss situation.
yeah.
The owner of the daycare that bought the swings wants them to be used. That's why they're there. But no, teacher won't let them use them because they fight over them. And that's it. So
Ah,
the swings aren't being used. Daycare teacher owner loses because I have swings, but they don't use them because they fight over them. That's the teacher that's just sitting on their butt, not trying these techniques. Somebody like you that says, let's use the swings in a different way, or let's learn to take turns. It takes an extra effort. You're not just looking at your watch and saying, well, lunchtime, what'd you do at recess? Well, we looked at the swings. Look, why? But we didn't get to use them. Why? Because we were fighting. So that's when you go home and tell your parents, what'd you do at school today? Well, before lunch, we looked at the swings. That's no way to live.
right.
Or to go home and say, we both got the swing on the swings together. Mom, Dad, did you know two kids could sit on a swing and swing at the same time? How'd you figure that out? The teacher did it for us. The teacher taught us how to do it. That's the way school should be. And that's the way 2 years old should be running around going, I got to share a swing with Billy. Otherwise, none of us got to use it because we were fighting over it. Nobody got to use it. 99% of daycares I go to, that's how they run.
Wow.
Because the teachers, they're not being supervised. They're just out there in the playground talking to their boyfriend on their cell phone. They're not put the phone down and play with the kids. That's what you're getting paid for. Well, they're not getting paid
Wow.
much. You know what I mean? So you have to
Interesting.
have people that have the tools to make it work, not just give up and watch the clock.
Huh.
Well, that's what you're
Yeah,
doing.
it'll be a lot more fun for them, I would think,
Sure.
since
Makes the day go
they
faster.
have,
Kids are happy.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody got to use the swings and in a different way. So we tried something new. And now the next day they're going to say, want to share the swing with me, Billy? Yeah. The day before that, they didn't know about that,
Right.
And then, well, no, we want to do it. Sure. Let us show you how, Where did you learn how to swing on a swing like that? A teacher showed me. She put her phone down, showed us.
Huh. Wow.
In the old days, they weren't allowed to take their cell phones to class, and or to work, these teachers and the students, but now they're using them. Like my mom used to bring home a new encyclopedia every week from the grocery store. Remember that? The
Yeah.
whole thing. Now you got it right in the palm of your hand, so you might as well use it.
Huh.
And you can look things up and do things, but it's just a
Yeah, you
tool.
can.
It's not your life. It's just part of your day.
Right.
And it works because you can document that stuff too and show it back. Hey, look at this video of your kid sharing a swing with Billy this morning. Isn't that great? Because I know a lot of parents that go to daycare, why did my kid get bad check marks? And oh, look at this. Well, they're going to get punished when they get home. No, that happened at 8 o'clock this morning. It's not even relevant to that kid anymore. They already paid their dues for that and got punished. It's 6 o'clock at night. You're not going to go home and punish them for something that happened 8 o'clock this morning. That's just not right. So
Yeah.
I would go through a lot of that stuff too as an educator. We've moved on. When you greet a parent about their 2-year-old, you don't say that little brat didn't know how to swing on a swing or chair. You don't say that to the parent. You say, here's what we learned today: how to share the swing with a friend. And the kid will be like, yeah, I did that. And that's outcome. That's positive results.
Right.
It's up to us to encourage that and then have them join the party, jump on the bandwagon. They'll want to do it too. Like my granddaughter, everybody gets a drink, and then we do cheers when we all have one. Not just, I'm thirsty, somebody give me a drink. It's not all about you. We're all thirsty. Oh, you're all thirsty? Can I get you a drink? Yeah. Then we open the fridge and get one and get a glass for everybody. Same thing with the swing. I want to swing. You can't because I'm here first. And the teacher says, well, no one gets to swing if you're going to fight about it. Well, that's not the end, but it has been for years and years until people like you
Wow.
come up and say, no, 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 no. That's not, we could do better than that. And you don't have to
Yeah,
have a
we
manual with
can.
all the answers. You just might have to have maybe something like this on your desk. The right here on my desk, the reference that say there's another way to look at this or to go about it. If there's a traffic jam, you don't say, I can't go today, can't go to where I was going. You find another direction. GPS will give you an alternate direction nowadays. In the old days, you have to maybe cut through a neighborhood. Nowadays, GPS will get you around the issue. And that's what we're doing here.
Right.
Finding other ways to claim success and make everybody happy. Because if you don't show up that day because there was traffic, it's even mental. If there's problems, someone cut you off and you go to work and you're a jerk all day. I cut me off this morning. I can't. Oh, I'm just gonna. Everybody sees you is gonna hear about it. Be mad. But in the
Mm.
meantime, he just went to work. He didn't know he cut you off. He didn't know he ruined your day, and everybody else comes in conflict with you at work. But if you just say, "Well, I'm happy to back off and let the cut me," I'm glad he got to work on time. I'll be okay. Then you go to work. I helped someone on the way in. He was late for work, so I let him in front of me. That's so much better. And
Yeah.
I think in the beginning, we're always trying to smile and be happy. And sometimes you might be faking it, but eventually it becomes just habit and real. I learned
Mm.
that from a mentor years ago. Like, you're always, why are you like that? He's like, better than being, what guy would you want to hang with? The happy
Huh.
guy. It's all gonna work out. Or today's gonna suck. I got so much crap going on. And that's what kids see. So when that one little 18-month-old comes around here, and now she sees happy grandpa me, and sees my granddaughter calling me grandpa. Now I got neighbors calling me grandpa. They think they don't know that they have their own grandpa or pawpaw or whatever. We have a lot of Spanish people. They might be Texans calling their grandpa, pawpaw, or they have different names for them. Me mom and me mall and all these different things. But I got stranger kids and they would call me grandpa because they learned it from my granddaughter. So they know
Oh,
they could trust me, and they come around and if we're drinking a drink in my backyard and some kid pulls up with his bicycle, hey, Benny, get him a popsicle too, or cut ours all in half and everybody gets a half of one. That way, I got one and you didn't, and he's crying and I'm not. Cut yours in half, give him half. Cheers. Problem solved.
nice.
That's how my neighborhood's running. It's because
Nice.
I'm out there playing it, doing it. It's
Yeah.
great. Great.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you're talking about here. And I'm going off on a ramble here, like I always do. But what happens is you read these things from your notes and from your thing, and they trigger stuff for me that works for me. It also triggers things that doesn't work, and I try to give you the push and pull on what does and what doesn't. It's good to know both. It's good to know both.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, good to know both.
Yeah.
How you gonna wrap it up, Karen?
Right.
You got 6
Yeah.
minutes to wrap it up. Anything else you missed off your agenda for today?
Well, let's see. Um,
Any future plans coming up you wanted to work on or you wanted us to think of?
oh yes, I did that. Yeah, I'm glad. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want to make an ad to put on announcing the show.
Oh yeah, TV show. Yeah, on
Yeah,
Roca,
yeah. So
the
I
Texas Media Network.
right,
Some friends of mine got in contact with you. They're starting a new television channel. It's called
right.
Texas Media Network. I'm looking at my notes.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it's on
so.
Roku.
Yeah,
And so yeah, so look for we're gonna look for Karen, look for you on there maybe, and that'll be great. It's just starting to grow, and they came and approached me. Then I approached you and got you in contact with them. I
Right.
also hooked them up with 2 or 3 other folks. And that's about as far as my commitment is with them right now. They do a pod show just like you're doing here. And
Yeah.
I sporadically come on just like when I am here, when I can,
Yeah.
support them. Like you, these are just friends of mine that are trying to do better in the world and do things for folks.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, so they're
So-
working on some other commercials, and they're just trying to, nothing's free. That's what I say. You have to pay your dues in one way or another. So they're trying to create this TV show on Roku, and they started it out Texans helping Texans, just because we're here in Texas, but you're in
Right.
Nevada. So, but there's no reason why we can't expand things, and
Yeah.
people in Nevada need the same help as people in Texas, especially in our education business. So we're trying to just get the word out there more for all of us that are doing good things. When I watch the news every day, I see bad things, and maybe this could be a good news station, a good news TV station for people doing good things, and that's what I'm hoping for.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Right. I watch the news every day. People getting shot and ran over and robbed and killed, guns and divorces and all this stuff, and crippled and school shootings and all. But what about the good things that are going on? They're not as exciting. Or who said news has to be negative? So we need to have a positive news station, positive podcasts and all that. And I think that's where we are, and that's why I hang out with you, because it's not going to bring me down. It's going to make me have influence and make me grow and do better. And that's what it's all about for me in my life, because anybody could just fall down and stay there. Getting back up,
Yeah.
getting back up. And
Right.
I'm having fun with it. My relationships are
I'm
good.
so glad.
I'm happy. None of my dentists fire me anymore. I say, hey, fix my teeth. No, they do the best they can. I pay them the best I can. And my relationships are good with my family and my kids, and I love it, and I'm having fun. The other day I played my
Good.
trumpet. I got mad at me, said I blew it in his ear. And I'm like, sorry, I blew a trumpet in your ear. I'll try not to do that anymore. And it kind of hurt my feelings, that only because I didn't go there to make enemies. And then he came up and goes, that took courage. There was a man of you to come up and apologize when all you were doing was having fun. I'm like, that's okay. I didn't mean to blow a trumpet in your ear. And he said, I was overreacting. You were just having fun. My own
Wow.
family he said, my own family had to convince me that, what's the big deal? You blew a trumpet in your ear. How many times a week do you ever get to have that happen? The guy come up, air from his body. He's alive. He's blowing a trumpet. You blew it in your ear. So what? Are you? Did it hurt? No, it was just awkward. Well, maybe you never been to New Orleans, because you go to New Orleans, they'll blow a trumpet in your ear every 10 feet. So it all worked out because I didn't get mad at him, and his family was able to get to him and say, "Chill out, nice guy, blew his trumpet in your ear. You should be happy." It all worked out. But
That's
in the
good.
beginning, it was all awkward because he didn't like it. It was something that, what? Guy blew a trumpet in my ear. Not a big deal. But I was just having fun, and I might have cocked it over, and like somebody else came up. He was only 2 feet from you. Like, yeah, I'm used to it. I'm a trumpet player. People blow trumpets in my, at least I didn't empty my spit valve on his foot. Anyway, it all works out.
Well, it's
And-
good that you didn't come back at him with the same kind of energy, because then,
Well, I
you
felt bad.
transformed it.
Yeah, I
You
felt bad that
transformed it.
it was like a misunderstanding in my eyes. I was just having fun, and I might have pointed it to him because just to say, "Hey, I'm here. Let's have some fun." And he took it like an abusive thing. But
Right.
that I think we changed his mind on that, and that helps.
Yeah.
And it helps that my attitude wasn't negative. So what I did
Yeah.
was I compromised. I grew up in Philly. And in Philly, I was, oh, what? you criticize me, I'll go break your legs. No, I don't think like that. I'm not a thug from Philly anymore. So I went over and I apologized if I offended you by blowing a trumpet in your ear. I'm sorry. I didn't. That wasn't my goals to come out here today and make an enemy for that. And he was like, "Oh, my family was just telling me that I was being a big baby about it. We were just having fun. And now that you said that and you came over, it's okay." So
Yeah, great.
to me, it was a minor thing, but it was a guy that
It
otherwise would
could
have
have
went home.
been major.
I hate trumpet players. They blow trumpets in your ear. So now he hates trumpet players. He's going to tell his kids and his grandchildren that trumpet players are jerks and they're obnoxious and all they do is blow trumpets in your ear. But now he might go home and say, I met a trumpet player at once, blew a trumpet in my ear, and I told him I didn't like it. He said he was sorry and he would try not to do it again.
Right. There you go.
And I don't like swings because we have to take turns. Well, then no one gets to use the swing because you're not willing to take turns. Compromise. I'm willing to share. And there we have it. Everybody's happy
Thank
on the
you.
playground. Everybody's happy on the playground.
Yep.
Well, thanks for stopping in, Karen.
Thank you for joining me.
It was a nice show again.
Yeah.
All right. Try to get it
Okay.
posted up there. We can share it with all of our friends.
Yeah, I'll try and do it right after this.
Okay.
Okay.
And stay in touch. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Oh, I have to do